if we don't set an intention and a purpose to take our dog for a walk and teach them that this is what I need and I need you to walk at my speed, and if I turn left, you turn left with me, this is where I feel like we're missing out with our dogs and we're missing that time to connect.
Time again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, nutrition, and wellness of your dog. Brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And we're back with the trainer, Ian Grant, and this week the topic is give your dog a reason to follow your lead. So what do you mean by following the lead here?
Well, I think a lot of times when I see people walking their dog down the sidewalk, you see the dog just sniffing around and exploring and not in sync with the owner at all. And there are times where I do that with my dogs. I let them, explore for a little bit. Let them be dogs. Right. It's who they are. Mm-hmm. But if that's happening during the entire walk, then we're not truly giving our dog a reason to follow us, because at that time we're just a moving anchor. They might as well just be dragging us around, and we're just kind of following wherever they go. Again, there's some dogs that you can just get away that are happy-go-lucky, nothing bothers them. They're the best dogs. They're the one in a million dogs that we always talk about. But if we don't set an intention and a purpose to take our dog for a walk and teach them that this is what I need and I need you to walk at my speed, and if I turn left, you turn left with me, this is where I feel like we're missing out with our dogs and we're missing that time to connect. Again, we've seen people with their cell phones, trying to walk their dogs. Yeah, I've seen,
and their dogs are wandering. I mean, they could be wandering around and going to anything, and you wouldn't know.
And you don't know what they're grabbing a hold of and picking
up.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to. You never know what you're going to find on the ground.
Especially when it comes to gum. Gum is really bad for dogs. And then that can be detrimental. But what really this boils down to is intention and purpose. When you grab a hold of that leash to get ready to take your dog for a walk, have purpose in it. I'm not saying that you don't have to be mean. You just purpose. Hey, we're going to go for a walk right now, and this is what I need from you, because this will make it enjoyable for me. And halfway into the walk, I'll let you sniff around a bit. You get to be a dog. You can pee on stuff if you want to, whatever that it is. But we do need some structure here, and then this is going to be my purpose, and I need you to follow my lead. And I just feel like this is, again, one of these things that we're missing out on, because it's an opportunity to create rules and boundaries, and it also creates clarity for our dogs. Otherwise, they're just going to do whatever they want to do on the walk and sniff and go wherever they want to go.
Yeah. So what particular guides or what particular goals would you have? So when you're taking the dog with you, should you have some kind of idea? I mean, do you work on different skills? I mean, or do you just kind of go with the flow with the dog and just kind of guide the dog to what you should be doing?
To me, I think when we set intention, it's almost, my analogy is always when you have to go to the grocery store and you forgot that one loaf of bread or the one bottle of wine, whatever it is, your intention is going to be to walk in the store, you go right to where that shelf is, you grab what you want, you pay for it, you head out. That's your intention. So set that same intention when you take your dog for a walk. You're going to leash him up. You're going to go down. You have 30 minutes to take your dog for a walk. You'll walk 20 minutes, give him 5 minutes to free time sniff around, and then the last 5 we're going to finish with structure, and then we're back at the house. And if you're running into problems during that time, then, well, guess what? Now you know what needs to be worked on. And it could be leashing up. It could be walking out the door. It could be the actual walking part. To me, when we create that intention and purpose, it kind of shifts our energy a little bit. Instead of going, I have to take the dog for a walk.
So if you got that attitude, you should just not even go out.
It's not
Don't
the best.
Bother.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to go into a different room and pump yourself back up and be like, okay, I got to go do this. Go do it somewhere else and come out and be refreshed. Now we're going to do this. Let's do this. But there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, that dread to grab the leash because it just is not enjoyable. It's not fun. Their dog might react, or they're just getting dragged everywhere. Doesn't have to be that way. But it has to start from within us first. We can't expect the dog to change if we don't change first.
Yeah. So if you're being distracted and so the dog is pulling you or the dog's not staying beside you, that's where you should be correcting them and doing that structure. If you're on your phone and not correcting them, then why are you out there?
Yeah, and look at it this way. Teach the dog what you want. Give them the opportunity to know that this is what you expect from them. If you're checked out, they're just going to do whatever they want to do. if you are locked in and you know exactly what you want, at least you're starting out on the right foot, knowing, okay, this is what I need to create. But too often we're thinking, no, don't do this. No, don't do that. No, don't pull me over here. No, don't pull me over there.
It can't all be negative.
No, because then after a while that starts to affect the relationship.
Yeah, and then the dog doesn't get excited about going for a walk either.
Yeah, now you have bigger problems, much bigger.
Yeah.
So set that intention, that purpose. Shift your energy in the right direction and teach what you want, and then go for the walk. And I think you'll see a difference.
And turn your cell phone ringer off during that 30 minutes. It can't be that big of an emergency.
No, not at all.
Back with our question from the doggy bag in just a moment here on Talking Dogs.
Are you a nature-loving dog owner? Introducing Roaming, the premium lifestyle brand from Los Angeles that's all about embracing the beauty of nature. Roaming brings you high-quality, earth-friendly dog products crafted from renewable and natural materials. Their standout product, bio-based and 100% compostable dog poop bags. I've been using Roaming bags for months, and let me tell you, they're a game changer. Durable, smooth, eco-friendly, and never any holes in them. These bags are good for your dog and Mother Earth. And here's the best part. Roaming has an exclusive offer for our listeners. Use code VermontDog to snag a whopping 20% off your first purchase. Sign up for their poop bag subscription and enjoy 20% off the first 3 orders. Oh, and don't miss their stunning leather leashes, proudly made right here in the USA. Ready to make your dog's world a little greener? Visit roaming.com. That's ROMNG.com. Roaming, where nature and dogs come together in perfect harmony.
Back to Talking Dogs with Ian Grant from Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. If you want to look back at some of our past Talking Dogs programs or any other podcasts that Ian does throughout the course of his week, you can go to his website, which is VermontDogBoardingBehavior.com. Click on the podcasts, and you'll find him right there. So good way to look back and maybe learn some things, too. Our question this morning, Ian, is my dog suddenly won't sleep through the night in her crate. She will wake up around 2 and doesn't have to go to the bathroom. So she's, just can't sleep. So what would cause that?
I always will take my dog out first just to make sure. Let's just rule that out because we don't want any accidents in the crate. We certainly don't want to create that negative pattern and have to try to recover from that.
So just automatically take them out.
That's number one.
Okay.
Number 2 is you may want to consider a vet check because there may be something going on that we're unaware of. So that's always a thing. The other thing that you may want to consider too is sometimes dogs just start to get hot in the crate. Depending on what kind of a crate it is. I prefer the wire crates because the air flows through them much better. Plastic crates are definitely more den-like, but I don't feel like they have as much airflow. And if a dog starts panting, it gets really hot in there quickly. So if you're doing some crate stuff, make sure it's in a wire crate. The other thing that I might do is I might start, as long as the vet says everything's good, I might start to increase the daily exercise a little bit. Because if we can rule everything else out, maybe this is the dog's just not that tired. And that does happen. There are there are changes that dogs make as they grow older and activity level. We also may want to consider what has changed in your world too, because sometimes people moving in and out are a thing. New babies are a thing. If you've moved with your dog is a thing. And so we have to consider things like that are happening in the house that can affect the dogs. And some dogs are more sensitive to that kind of stuff than others. But we have to bring everything into perspective here. It may be something that you're not even thinking about that the dog is. So it can be a tricky situation.
Yeah. Well, Tika's crate is our bed. So many times during the course of an evening sleeping, my wife and I are sleeping, and she will get hot. She'll get under the covers, and you hear her panting, then up, and the covers go flying. My wife and I are cold, and then she'll go back and sleep at the end of the bed, and then all of a sudden she'll get cold, and she'll be back and nosing to get back in. So it isn't the dog that doesn't get any sleep. It's us that don't get any sleep.
Tika sleeps just fine.
Just fine, yeah. So I think there's a separate show that we may inspire to do this.
Might, yeah.
If you have a question for Ian, you can email him directly to info@vermontdogboardingandbehavior.com. Next week, why dogs bolt through doors. I guess they get excited when they see that door. They know they're going out.
Yeah, and then there's a step in here that tends to make things worse that we do that we're going to cover, and I'll give some advice on actually how you can make it go the other way and slow things down.
Sounds good to me. On Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland LaJoy, and we are talking